I'd like to call the Madison School Board to order. We always start with the pledge, and tonight we have some very special pledge guests. Here. We need a motion to adopt our agenda. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Melissa Walker. Mrs. Amy Walker. Mr. Moser. Mrs. Cotterman. Mr. Waketon.
4. We need a motion to approve our previous board meeting minutes for February.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Moser. Mrs. Melissa Walker. Mrs. Cotterman. Miss Amy Walker. Mr. Waketon.
4. We have no presentation of certificates tonight. If there is a visitor who would like to speak to the board concerning an item on the agenda, now is the opportunity to do so. All right, seeing no one. Moving on, our legislative report. Okay, Athletic Board of Control, we have no report this month. Student representative comments. I don't see our student representative from the high school. Okay. Facilities report.
Nothing to report at this time, sir.
Okay, thank you. Student achievement.
I have lots to report. So the Career Center reported that 6 out of 6 students from the Customer and Office Support Technology course passed 5 certifications. 6 STNA students passed their coursework. 3 out of 6 have passed their state test, and 3 need to retest on skills. They've enrolled 6 new cosmetology students, and the student salon remains open for client services Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings year-round, except for scheduled breaks. 3 out of 3 nail technician students completed their coursework and will sit for state board students. And 1 welding adult diploma student passed the required welding certification test. At the high school, teachers are working extremely hard to prepare students for state testing. Classes have been focused on practice tests, examining itemized analysis from previous tests, plus utilizing testing blueprints and the Cambium Restart Readiness Test. An all-school state testing meeting was held at the end of February. The purpose of the meeting was to give students an understanding of graduation requirements, provide an idea of what to expect during testing, and share successful testing strategies. Madison Comprehensive High School juniors took the ACT test today. The test will take place during the normal school day, and grades 9, 10, and 12 did remote learning that day. All students interested in College Credit Plus next year will be meeting with Mr. Conway and Mrs. Carpenter to make sure they understand the admission, registration, and scheduling process. Also, there was a total of, below are the names of students who qualified for the BPA state competition, which competition it is that they will be competing in. I'm not going to read everybody's names, but there was 21 state qualifiers, and I will post them on my Facebook page after the meeting. And what they're competing in. At the middle school academic challenge teams competed at the Mid-Ohio Educational Service Center this month. Out of 38 teams, one of the middle school teams finished 18th, while the other team finished 32nd. The next and last meet at the ESC is in May. ECU students and staff are having a great time reading our building-wide book, Fenway and Hattie. Also, on March 3rd, the 4th graders had a great time traveling to Columbus, Ohio to go to the State House for their field trip. Mifflin 1st and 3rd grade students recently had their spring music programs and did a wonderful job under the direction of the music teacher, Mrs. Walker. All students were able to participate in the annual health fair hosted at Mifflin by students from Ashland University, where they were able to learn about healthy eating choices and practice fun exercises. This month, author and illustrator Steve Harpster will be here to visit all students, and there will be an in-school field trip of science experiences on forces in motion. And finally, at Madison South, they have added academic achievement shout-outs where staff can nominate students for outstanding academic work. Students have been recognized for success in tests, taking time to write and support extended responses for reading, giving great focus and effort during specific lessons, meeting I-Ready goals, passing multiplication tests, and much more. Students are called out over the announcements and given a certificate and recognized for their achievements. In less than a month, they've already recognized over 100 students.
Thank you. Wonderful. Board policy. Okay. Superintendent's update.
Just a handful of updates. This Friday is the end of the third grading period, so we're about 3/4 away through the school year. I want to remind everybody that the high school musical is this weekend. That's Into the Woods Junior, and that takes place Friday and Saturday evenings at 7 o'clock, and then they have a Sunday matinee at 2:30. And there will be many other additional school events in the next, coming in the next couple of months. Last night at Mid-Ohio, there was the Franklin B. Walter program that honors one student from all of the high schools that belong to Mid-Ohio. And we were well represented by somebody I think Mr. Wigton may know well. His granddaughter, Allie Wigton, was our representative and fine representative of Madison at that event. We had received an email from Mr. Conway this week about several things that took place over the weekend. Great happenings from the high school, in addition to the things that Mrs. Walker stated. Our women's chorus and chorale, they, at their district competition over the weekend, Mr. Green and those groups scored a superior rating, and they will be going on to state in April as a result. The band also had their district competition over the weekend. Ms. Carlson and Ms. Fanning, the symphonic band, earned excellent rating. And in wrestling, Mike Thomas qualified for the state wrestling meet, and additionally, senior Hunter Hutchison capped off his wrestling career by placing 5th in his weight class at the state tournament, making him a three-time state qualifier and 2-time state placer. And our academic challenge team recently had the winter tournament out at Mid-Ohio, and they won that tournament. So many teams in the area they competed against, and our academic challenge team won that tournament. Those students on that team: Tyler Batcheller, Aiden Mooneyham, Sky Holbrook, Sam Myers, Jacob Ford, Nate Osborne, and their advisor, Mr. Dillon. And Mrs. Walker mentioned the students that went to the state competition in BPA, and we had 2 students at the state competition qualified to move on to nationals, and that is Zach Glasgow and Haley Vernon. So they will compete in April out in Anaheim, California. So that's quite an honor. Lastly, I'd like to take a moment to recognize one of our board members, Amy Walker, for achieving a milestone of 10 years of service on the Board of Education. She was recently honored by the Ohio School Board Association for her decade of service, and just like to take a moment to thank Ms. Walker for her service to the Madison District and the Madison community.
presentation from Mrs. Cox at Madison South.
Good evening. We're excited to be here tonight. We have our Inspire shirts on today. So this has kind of been our theme at South this year. We challenged our staff to look to inspire each other each day to then be able to inspire the kids. And we kind of recognize that throughout the year in different ways. And then, the community has really rallied around South this year. We have a student, a third grader, that has cancer and is going through chemo right now. And we have done various fundraisers for them, and the whole community, the district-wide, and then also the Madison community has rallied around, London, and that has been inspiring to us at South, and to watch her fight and be able to check in on her progress and things like that throughout the year. So that's kind of the theme that we have going on this year. So we're going to bring up our student council members, and they have a little bit to tell you about tonight.
Thank you for inviting us to this meeting. We thought it would be a good idea to list what Madison South Student Council has done over our 2022 to 2023 school year. Hi, I'm Becca White, our Student Council President. This is my co-president, Laura, our Secretary, Lilia Myers, and one of our many fourth grade representatives, Riera.
I'm Riera, and here are some of the things that Student Council has been involved in this school year. We sold thankful pumpkin cards for students to give to those who they were thankful for. This was an easy way to earn money for Student Council, and it made people smile. We had a gratitude gathering where all 2nd through 4th grade students performed songs. We asked families to donate canned goods for their entry to the concert. We then asked families in need to take from the event that day. We had a really good response, and we're happy to brighten some people's day during help.
Our school has a quarterly town hall where the entire school comes together, and we talk about all the things going on in our school and discuss how we can grow in character and academics. We have been in charge of these town halls, making sure we run smoothly and sharing important events in our school. In October, we gave campaign speeches, and then on November 8th, the entire school voted for student council officers. Something the student council started this year is the morning helpers. We help all the way from preschool to 2nd grade, watching kids in the morning, walking them in, or keeping an eye on them at morning recess.
During the Christmas holiday, we adopted a South family to buy clothing and toys for. We had a great time getting everything from student council families and wrapping it at school. Our final fundraiser we'd like to share with you tonight is Love for London. We have a 3rd grader who is currently battling cancer, and so we wanted to do something to help her family. We decided to do a Valentine's bake sale.
As a little extra way to earn some money for our 3rd grader in London, we also started a t-shirt sale selling t-shirts that look like this. The school community really came together, and many of the student council members worked at home to make baked goods or went to the store to buy simple things like cookies for us to sell. And in the end, after a 3-day-long, very busy bake sale, we were able to make over $4,400 for London and her family. Leading student council this year has truly been a highlight of my time at Madison South, and I look forward to having a voice at the middle school to help us to continue growing, to continue to show grand pride.
as you can see, they've been very busy. So, great job, guys. All right, so just to go over a little bit of progress, things that we've been working on at South. In the fall, we began with about 68 students on or above our reading level, and 126 students either 2 years or more behind. We are currently now have 162 kids above that reading level, so we're pretty excited about that. And then with math, I'm in charge of the own clicker. It's probably not a good job for me. Begin at the year 36 students on or above, and 147 kids with that 2 years or more behind. And we currently have boosted that to 117 students on or above our math level. So we're pretty excited about that movement. We're still working hard to finish out the year, obviously, but our teachers and students have been working extremely hard in that area. Okay, so PBIS, we have put in place in the building, over several years, and we have been working hard and earned bronze status last year. So we were super excited about that. Our staff and students worked hard to bring that, to light. We began implementing some more Tier 2 behavior supports in our building with a check-in and check-out system, and that is going really strong. Mrs. Tripp, our school counselor, is in charge of that. And we have added in more time with family life counseling, which has been a huge support system to our students to have those relationships and have somebody to count on and talk to during the week.
We're going to just touch a little bit on one of the big building updates that we had mid-year this year. Our playground equipment we had there previously for the last 30, I think, even years or so. Starting to notice it was not up to par. We're able to raise some funds and use some different funds as well that we were able to replace 2 of them, one on the back playground and one on the side playground as well. We were also able to take out the wood mulch that was there previously and replace it with the rubber mulch. Much safer, much more forgiving when the kids are falling and playing in it as well. And then in the coming months, we're also going to be replacing one of the playgrounds, the older ones that got taken out, and we're going to be putting in more of a preschool specific equipment this summer as well, so that they'll have a designated area that's more their size and their ability as well.
We have partnered with the high school OCC leadership team. We started out as pen pals and got to know our kids, and now they've been coming down to South once or twice a month and helping in the classrooms, getting to know the kids. And this past week we were there they were there about 4 hours, and they were in classrooms, and then they got to eat lunch and go to recess with our students. As you can imagine, there's a huge hit. I think our students loved it for sure, but I think the big kids loved it as well. You could see the smiles on their faces, and they had hands of all the kids going out to recess, and so that's been a really cool partnership, and we're excited to kind of advance that the rest of this year and then into next school year as well. That's kind of a picture of some of those interactions there.
In our portion, we'll kind of wrap up here, just touching base. I know Mr. Peterson talked about it at the last board meeting, but we do have the Elementary Olympics coming up again this year. Everybody's invited. We'd love to see have a great turnout again this year. It's going to be on Tuesday, May 16th, up at the high school over at the football field. Mifflin, Madison South, Eastview will be competing. 3rd and 4th graders are going to be competing this year. The 2nd grade, we're kind of introducing it, having them kick off the whole event for them to get some experience, but then also kind of see what they have to look forward to the following year. Entrances by donation only. We had a little touch on last year's. We had a great turnout last year. We had just a perfect night for it. First of all, it was phenomenal. The amount of support, the overwhelming attendance that we had as well, I felt it was well received. We had over 200 competitors last year. Again, same thing last year, we had by donation only, and we were able to raise over $2,000, and all the way back to the elementary PE teachers to use for funds for buying new supplies and re-upping on different things, so they have access to that. Similar process again this year, and looking to repeat with those winners that are on that picture right there. We're hoping that Madison South can win it again this year. So that's the plan again this year. So yeah, so thank you very much for your time. That's it for us at South. I'm going to throw it over to Mrs. Eckenweiler with the preschool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Can I stand over there so I can face everybody too?
Sure.
People coming up. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about a little bit is Safety Town, and I know Natasha kind of alluded to that a little bit a couple months ago when she spoke and presented. Okay, there we go. So we are hoping to reach 60 kiddos entering kindergarten this fall. That's who's eligible for it. So my preschoolers will be coming after you pretty soon for that. It's going to be held June 5th through 16th, only Monday through Friday, no Saturday, Sunday thing. And we have a morning and an afternoon session that people can choose from. We are in the process still of seeking donations from area and local businesses. Our goal is to keep it free always. So we want kids to just come have a good time, learn some things, and just keep it free. Right now we have a fundraiser going on. It's a raffle, so anybody that's interested in tickets, you can come to any of the elementaries or to Natasha at the Early Childhood Learning Center here on Grace Street. And tickets are $1 for $1, or you can buy 6 for $5. So you get a deal that way, so we encourage that one. The prizes for the drawing, we have some Cedar Point tickets, we have jump passes to Altitude Trampoline Park, and we also have some water park passes and other goodies from the Salvation Army Croc Center in Ashland. So come buy some tickets from us. It only goes through next Friday, so we're running out of time. And just some of the topics and things we're going to cover: fire safety, learning about the police. We always have visitors from the sheriff's department or the sheriff's office and the local fire stations, water safety, first aid. A lot of those things kids need to know going into school. They'll get to practice with Mr. Yost, getting on and off the bus, how to cross in front of a bus, all those things. So kids always like the big yellow bus. Our registration, along with the brochure that we've created with just lots of information in it, will be available at all of the elementary schools starting on April 3rd. And we will also send those home with our preschoolers at South as well as the Early Learning Center, MCLC. And we will only take registrations until May 19th because we have t-shirts and things like that we need to order and have numbers in time for. All right, on to preschool. So currently we have 87 students enrolled. 76 of them are center-based, so they come and see us Monday through Thursday, either in the morning or the afternoon, and 11 of them are itinerant. That means those are students that are on an IEP that come for an hour a week and work with our itinerant intervention specialists, and they work specifically on the goals in their IEP. So sometimes that's a better setup for our younger ones to start out that way. Of those of our 87, 45 of them are special needs students. We can have up to 8 in a classroom, so we have 6 classes, morning and afternoon for 3 teachers. So, but we can have up to 8 in a class of special needs and 8 typical peer models as well. So a total of 16, no more than that. And we have 42 typical peer models. And we've got some special needs kiddos that'll be starting pretty soon. We run Monday through Thursday, 2 hours and 40 minutes. We upped that by 10 minutes this year. We have to meet face-to-face hours per the state, so we're trying to make sure we're good on that. Let's see, Fridays we use as our meeting days. Some programs run Monday through Friday, but for us, it's hard to pull people out of class and everything. So that's when we do our assessments, our screenings. We see a lot of kids from Help Me Grow. Lots of different people come from lots of different places, so we have time to work on that stuff on Fridays. Some of our community partners, we partner with the Ohio Bird Sanctuary. They come in once a month. I know that's something the kids look forward to. They get to meet a new furry friend every month, sometimes an owl or a toad, or you never know what they're going to bring. So it's always a surprise. And they visit us monthly, October through April. we go to them in April. We'll go with that. So October through March, they come to us. The same thing with the Madison Branch Library. Miss Brindy, who's the children's librarian there, she comes and sees us, does some different things with us. We also partner with Help Me Grow at Richland New Hope. We get referrals from those of some kids that are 2 that are going to be turning 3. And the hope is that if they qualify, we can get them going on their services. We also partner with MECLC. I get referrals from her. We work closely on different programs. We have similar programs going on. And then Mr. Peterson isn't exactly a community partner, but he's kind of like that, so I added him on that list too. So he comes and sees us monthly and reads to the kids. Some of our highlights, we recently got some new interactive panels. And the teachers are loving them. Some of them are a little more apprehensive of using them because they're not sure. But they are loving using those. I think the kids are loving that. They're able to, draw on it with the stylus and things. The kids are really having fun with that. Got a picture up there at the top. It's hard to see. We've continued our virtual Fun Fridays. That's just a different way that we can reach kids on that day when we don't have class. And so those are just 30-minute lessons. The teachers and myself take turns doing those, and it's something that parents and the kids can access at their leisure. We had a family fun day in October where we had lots of games and activities and things that parents can come. It's a family engagement activity. We had preschool Christmas back in December. Santa and his crew came. We're thankful to our administrators who come and help us with things like that. Even if they don't really want to, I twist their arm and they do it. But I've heard one of them won't do it in the future, so I'll keep twisting harder and harder. But Santa comes and reads a story to the students. He reads Night Before Christmas, and they bring candy canes, and it's really fun, and kids love it. We also had Winterfest, which some of my preschool friends that are here now were there. We have games and crafts and cookie decorating and balloons. Kids love the balloons. They take one home. And we also had Santa Claus there as well. Thank you to a particular board member who's the president who helped us out with that part. We appreciate all. There we go. Some things coming up. So my preschoolers just got word of this today. We're going to try something new this year. We're calling it's Spring Fling, but it's a little preschool prom. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of really excited about this, and hopefully they are too. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. We have our field trip to the Bird Sanctuary next month. And for our kids who are going to be going into kindergarten next year, we will do a visit to the elementary schools so they can meet the teachers, see the classrooms, kind of get an idea of what that's like. And they get to ride the big yellow bus again. Sometimes that's the first time for them, so that's fun. They enjoy that. And finally, we will have our preschool graduation the day after our last day on Friday, May 19th. All right, my little friends, come on up. They've been rehearsing for this. Harley's ready. Okay. Let's do it so they can see us over there too, okay? Kind of stand like this. Can you hold them this way a little bit? She's ready. Stand here so they can see all of you. All right, so they're going to tell you their favorite thing about preschool. All right? Favorite? Just her? Okay, what's your favorite thing about preschool?
Skateboarding.
Skateboarding. Let's do this one. All right, Brogan's going to tell us his favorite thing.
My favorite thing is playing with my friends and painting, coloring, and going in the gym.
Very good.
My favorite thing is play with friends and my family.
What's your favorite?
Going with my teacher, playing with my friends. I like to play.
Play is a very good thing at this age. They learn lots of things from that.
I like to eat.
We do have a snack.
I like in the gym. Coloring. I like to play with my friends.
All right, and there you have it. Preschool fun.
Okay, it's gonna be hard to move on after that. We need a motion to accept our treasurer's report. Okay, discussion.
So the first thing is approval of the temporary appropriations for FY '24 already. And that's just, have to get the budget set for next year. It's temporary, just July and August before you guys vote on it. So it's just something I have to do in the county auditor. Number two, approve a blanket, super blanket purchase orders, not to exceed 500,000. You know, we don't know how much we're gonna spend on electricity, but we're gonna spend on electricity. So we have to have a blanket purchase order for those companies. Three, approval of the resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission. If you remember in January, I presented the tax budget to you. I said I had to give it to the county auditor. Gave it to the county auditor. The Budget Commission votes on it. Now that they voted on it for the rates, tax rates that they set, and it has to be accepted by the board. So that's what that is. Number four, financial report. That's nothing out of the ordinary. You look at this last month, in February, revenues exceeded expenditures, but that was because I asked for several advances for property taxes. If you look at where the property tax increase was, that's not because we got that much of an increase in property taxes. It's based on people paid early. When you get into advance, the county auditor can only give you 70% of what has been paid at that point in time. So it just so happened more people had paid earlier this year than last year. That's why that increases in that one. The decrease in local funds, that has to do with timing. There's this thing called excess cost, which means when we educate students from, special needs students from another district, we can bill them for excess costs. And then if they educate our special needs students, they can bill us. It just so happens that this year, those excess costs hadn't hit by February yet, because a lot of them didn't get approved till the end of January, and then there's 30 days that they have to, the other districts have to approve it or deny it, and then it takes a while for things to go through the state. So that negative just had to do with timing. And the foundation increase was anticipated. Expenditures, like I said, the revenues exceeded expenditures in February. The salaries and benefits, I've understood, you know, things like that go up. The increase in purchase services, I did say I was watching that. I've spent quite a bit of time this past month talking to several supervisors, and there's going to be quite a few different expenditures that we're going to be able to reclassify to grant funds, so that'll knock that down. So that's that. And if you look back at the forecast, we're within 1 to 2% of what we were last year, which is, you know, not dead on, but, you know, 1 to 2% is not bad. 98% accurate, I'll take that. And then the last thing is the adoption of a resolution appointing U.S. Bank as the valuing agent for the 2010 bonds. All this has to do, Richland Bank. Okay, when we sell bonds, we don't actually pay the bondholders. We pay a paying agent with our bond payment. And then that paying agent disperses the money to the individual banks or institutions or even people that bought the bonds. Richland Bank last, I believe it was July, decided they were not going to be able to be our paying, they just got out of it altogether. So they weren't going to be our paying agent anymore. U.S. Bank was. They agreed to do it, and we had to switch this over, and this is just a resolution just to say, hey, U.S. Bank's going to take care of that rather than Richland Bank. Are there any questions on 1 through 5 of the treasurer's reports? Okay, Miss Amy Walker?
Four.
Mr. Moser? Mrs. Melissa Walker?
Four.
Mrs. Cotterman? Mr. Wiggins?
4. Next is item K, matters related to personnel. I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Melissa Walker?
Four.
Mrs. Cotterman? Mr. Moser? Miss Amy Walker? Mr. Wiggins?
4. Next is item L, superintendent's business. We need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Just all three standard things.
Mrs. Melissa Walker?
Four.
Mrs. Cotterman? Mr. Moser? Miss Amy Walker?
Four.
Mr. Wiggins?
4. Next is item M, visitor comments. Any? Okay. Next, I need a motion for item N1 for approving a contract renewal for Mr. Peterson for 3 years from August 1st, 2023 to July 31st, 2026. Second? Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cotterman? Mr. Moser? Mrs. Melissa Walker?
Four.
Miss Amy Walker?
Four.
Mr. Wiggins?
4. Our next regular meeting will be April 19th at the middle school. This time, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Moser? Mrs. Melissa Walker? Mrs. Cotterman? Miss Amy Walker? Mr. Wiggins?
4. Thank you. We are officially adjourned.